Welcome to the show. Geek Insider presents Into the GeekVerse, the place to get an inside look at movies, comics, games, tech, and everything exciting going on in the GeekVerse. Join Matthew Harris and David King as they take a deeper look at the good, the bad, and the downright terrible things our GeekVerse has to offer. With live chat, geek news, special guests, and lots more. So sit back, relax, and join us for a peek into the GeekVerse.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Into the GeekVerse, and tonight we're doing a tribute to the Batman so many of us grew up with, Kevin Conroy. Unfortunately, as you probably know, he passed away on the 10th of this month, and while there's been several tribute shows in his honor, we're going to go a lot deeper because, well, we're into the GeekVerse, and that's what we do. And go ahead, Dave.
And now this episode is sponsored by Colgate, and we'll hear more about them later because we're going to be going through the timeline of Kevin Conroy's every appearance as Bruce and or Batman in at least mostly chronological order. And as you'll see, there's a lot that our Batman did.
Yeah, there really is. In fact, folks, he appeared or was Batman, the voice of Batman, over 300 times. And it's an amazing, his first acting credit is a TV movie. It's called How to Pick Up Girls. And that was back in 1978. And he had around 25 TV or TV movie appearances before Batman the Animated Series. And of course, that's what started it all. And for us Batman fans, before we get into that, David, how long have you been a Batman fan?
Man, you would know better than anyone else since you've been around my entire life. I would say my entire life as a child and everything, I really liked Batman. I liked that this superhero was, human. He was like us, but also extraordinary. There was so much to him rather than just the show and what some people may have emotional connections like me, but this was something that, I was an introvert growing up, and a lot of the stuff of in my room and stuff. And Matthew, I have on my Batman shirt right now, and even my my pants. And so I would wear my Batman shirts over to Matthew's house, and he would pick on me. He's like, "Hey, that's my Batman shirt."
Yeah, what are you doing wearing my Batman shirt?
Yeah.
And he'd get this big smile. And I'm talking, dude, you were like 3-4 years old. And so I would throw that at David. And we just always connected. And we just forever since then. Once you got older out of high school, then we connected on another level. We really became friends. We started hanging out a lot. We were doing dinners together, and it just turned into a natural friendship. But Batman has always been there.
Yeah, and as a lot of our viewers can see in all of our videos, we have matching ones, which we've told our story a couple of different times. And as you see with Matthew, he's got a couple of other posters. Mine are spread out a lot through my house and through my room. But better yet, we've got Batman tattoos.
Yeah.
And so we're really deeply tied into Batman. And I wanted to mention, as we're getting into the chronological order and everything that Kevin Conroy has done as Batman to us, I want to point out, I saw this short video, and somebody said, if you are working as a carpenter for 30 plus years, you're a carpenter. And they list all these different job responsibilities, saying that if you have 30 plus years of experience, you are that, like a master craftsman and all that.
Right.
And they said, if you are the voice for Batman for 30 years, you are the Batman. And I can't agree more, because when I'm picking up a comic book, this is the voice that I hear. If I'm watching something or a GIF with no sound, that's the voice I hear.
And, this was in 1992. that he started. That's the launch of the animated series. And so here it is,
Just before I was
2002.
born.
Here it is, 2002. So you got exactly 30 years because, as you'll see, there was a project that came out this year, or at least one, where he played Batman again. And so you got 30 years, over 300 instances of him playing Batman. And like we said, we're being into the GeekVerse. We're going to go through them. There were 85 freaking episodes of the animated series. And I got into it probably about halfway through the first season. And then, bam, I was hooked. And but Kevin's first words as Batman, we got to hear it. This is what started it all. And so,
Perfect,
check it out.
my love. Let's go home.
So, our new cat burglar's a woman.
And that's kind of fitting that it deals with Catwoman,
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, like I said, that started it all for us. And David, you wanted to show something from the animated series as well.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look here. So one of the most iconic things that we'll hear for the rest of his voice acting career as Batman. Let me pull this up here.
Batman!
So we've got this one, which is the introduction of Scarecrow, and they're on that blimp. He's seeing his father, and he says that line that we even have another similar clip to that y'all see later. And I wanted to show where we saw that in that animated series, as we're talking about him being the Batman.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is he's the Batman, like you said, for so many people. It's the voice that we hear. Now, of course, with the popularity of the show, because it was gangbusters, they came out with a video game, Batman, The Adventures of Batman and Robin video game, came out in 95. I didn't play this, but I did go and look at some graphics, and holy crap. Because I should have did a side-by-side of a clip of it and then a clip of Arkham Asylum or one of those games. I mean, because it's just two different beasts.
I remember playing one of the really, really, really old ones when I was young, talking about, one of the joysticks and stuff.
Right.
And to think of graphics that have come so long. And more amazingly, being able to have one character that's able to transition through all these different periods.
Right.
And I know the show's not about him, but I also want to Mark Hamill, who plays the Joker, and being able to make
a lot of them.
Appreciate that for translating between series and movies. He's also someone that I am going to hear when thinking of the Joker.
Oh, definitely. And so next up was a movie from the animated series, or tied in with the animated series. Came out in 93. It's Mask of the Phantasm. And this was really one of my first, and maybe the first, animated movies that I enjoyed. You had Scooby-Doo movies and stuff like that, but this was the first Batman animated movie that started it for me, because as you'll see, folks, he appeared in a lot of stuff. And if you guys are listening on the podcast, you may want to just come on over to the YouTube channel, search Geek Insider, and first one that pops up is us, and then watch this, because we are going to be showing a lot of clips of him as Batman. Some trailers of some stuff that you may not have ever seen before. I know, as a huge Batman fan, a lot of this is still new to me, or that stuff that I hadn't checked out. But in Mask of the Phantasm, Batman gets jacked. This new vigilante is in town, killing mob bosses, and Batman is getting blamed for it. And so it is a really good movie. And David, you had a video you wanted to show.
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Can you see it all right, Matthew?
Yep.
All righty.
Uh-oh. There ain't no sound.
Can you hear it?
No sound.
Can you see the subtitles?
Yeah, but it's underneath stuff. Start it again. I'll read it. Now, well, we really want to hear his voice. So, anyway, it was a cool little video.
So let me go ahead. I'm going to pause this, and we'll get back over here. I'm going to try one more time, folks. If that doesn't work, I'm going to go ahead and give you like a rundown of it.
A quick. No.
Still no sound?
Yeah, still no sound.
Okay. Well, let's stop that. Alrighty. So what we're seeing here is I wanted to show y'all one of the scenes where we see more of Bruce and Kevin Conroy portraying Bruce in here. So as Matthew said, that there's someone battling, and we're getting to this part of his past where he has this love in his life and he's ready to move on. He no longer needs to become Batman. He's moving on from the promise he gave to his parents, and he's asking their forgiveness. He doesn't need this anymore, and he's found a better purpose. But you're getting this ambient sounds, the thundering, like obviously the world's angry about the decision, and he's going to leave Batman behind and for a woman, but he's pouring his heart out. And this entire scene is as Bruce in the graveyard, and then at the end, his love comes up, puts his hand on his shoulder, and says, "Maybe they sent me to you." And this was a really emotional thing, and we see a lot of different variations between the silver and the gold ages of Batman and stuff, but this was something that was slightly, you saw a little bit of his playboy side, you've seen his emotional side, and then also you see he's got that dark vigilante. And I like that, and I wanted to show that with you, and I hate that for some reason the sound's not working.
And hearing Kevin Conroy as Bruce would have been cool, because most of this is going to be him as Batman. And again, there's a lot of video games and little one-off shows that we're going to discuss. We won't get deep into them. We're going to give just a quick little thing on them, because we do have a lot to discuss, and we've got videos, like I said. The next thing that was up, and again, this is in chronological order as much as I could get it. It's a video game. It was Batman, The Adventures of Batman and Robin Activity Center video game, came out in 96. He did the voice, of course, of Batman. I don't know anything about it. Do you have anything on that one, David?
No, I think it was the later ones that I have been able to play. Once again, it was made before I was born.
And then the next thing that came, I didn't watch any of this, was Superman the Animated Series. He played Batman in 5 episodes. Never watched it. I assume that it was lighter than Batman the Animated Series. I didn't see how many episodes it totally went, but Kevin Conroy appeared in 5 episodes of that.
I did see a little bit of those from time and time, but I think that a lot of it's overshadowed by Justice League. I feel like Superman was a big appearance, and so a lot of people think more of Justice League.
And what was up next?
So after the Superman the Animated Series, we've got the Batman Superman movie, World's Finest, which was in 1997. So this one, Joker goes to Metropolis. Just a little bit of a backstory there. Joker is in Batman, which is in Gotham. Metropolis is Superman, since kind of the name Batman Superman movie. He meets with Lex Luthor, which is Superman's arch enemy, offers to kill Superman for him, but Batman followed the Joker to Metropolis and is looking for the Joker, of course. And I think this was one of the first ones that we got into to start that Batman versus Superman idea that was going out there. And you're talking about this essential god that we put in a hero versus which comes into play that we hold to high standards and is just smart. He's a detective. There's everything.
And of course, that comes into play a lot within the Batman world. The Batman Superman fight. Of course, we've seen Batman versus Superman movie. But the next thing that came up, and bro, I cannot believe that I didn't see this. I had seen the logo. I guess I didn't ever see any trailers for it or anything. And that was the new Batman Adventures, came out in 97. Had ended up with 24 episodes, and it's just a continuation of the animated series. It's darker. He's got a new Robin. Is that the one he has the female Robin? No, that was only in one of the movies. So
no, the female one was Raven the Bold, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
but anyway, so that's where it picks up, and but we get a closer association with Batgirl, and we get one of David's favorites, Nightwing. And so I don't know if that's on my HBO Max. Yeah, and I've got one too, but it's above my sleeve. Or no, it ain't. It's right.
It's right there. Yep.
Yep,
and,
right
and they're
there.
the same thing.
But yeah, so I've got to check that out. I don't know if it's on HBO Max or not. And folks, that's one thing. A lot of these are on HBO Max because, of course, they're owned by Warner Brothers.
Which, if you're hearing this, we've talked about it before. A lot of this stuff is animated, and it's one of our favorite things. If you can just not try to charge an arm and a leg immediately, or some sort of subscription where you pay less, or you get them, or just work with us, something, because we would be giving you just.
And so next, Kevin Conroy appeared in what, David?
So this one was one of the top favorite Batman movies altogether, and Kevin Conroy moments. And you'll see it all over Google, I believe. Matthew, correct me if you're wrong. If you look up like best appearances and stuff, is Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero from 1998. This was the year before I was born, and it's still just a very, very nostalgic thing to think of for Batman.
And it's the basic origin story for him, but it's a little different from the comic books. But of course, that's always to be given. A lot of the movies have different origins sometimes, and we get the New 52 where they fuck everything up. But what was it about?
So of course, we're talking about Mr. Freeze's origin story and everything. If y'all don't know, kind of everything that he does is to try to save his wife, and so he kidnaps Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, and tries to make her an involuntary organ donor. Batman and Robin must find her before she gets dissected. But we get, which I gotta say, unfortunately, one of the least cinematically villains to show up. I said that wrong. I want to see more of him cinematically, and unfortunately, we're not getting a lot of it.
And I want it done better than Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Right. I actually think I appreciate it, but I think it's because we have such a lack thereof. And I feel like we're not getting the imagination put into this character, what his story's about, and how he needs to be the tech.
It could be,
but I do like it. That
could be a great story for the Batman, actually.
Yeah.
But next up, Kevin Conroy. It's still kind of based on the animated series, but it's in the future. And Kevin Conroy is playing Bruce Wayne now only. Well, he does suit up a couple of times, but he's older. He's retired. Batman is no more. This came out in 99, and it's called Batman Beyond. And man, I loved this show. In fact, I loved it so much, I used to do a streaming radio show back then in 99, back before you had podcasts and everything. And that was my opening to my show, the theme music.
Me and Matthew have talked about this in several different terms. Between one, I used to have a Batman Beyond toy when I lived back where Matthew is, and in an apartment complex, and I lost it. And to this day, I can't drive past that place and just like, I wonder if I can find it. It was my favorite toy. But not only that, me and Matthew have always talked about how there could be a live action Batman Beyond.
Oh, they have to do it. They have to do it. Of course, they'd have to change the timing because it's supposed to be 20 years after the animated series. So it's would have happened 3 years ago, 2019. And so you'd have to change the timing, especially because it's futuristic anyway.
We also, unfortunately, don't have flying cars yet, which starting to make me think these movie planners are lying to us.
Because, like I said, it's set 20 years after the animated series and or after the new Batman Adventures ended, which was the last continuation. And this kid, Terry McGinnis, his dad gets killed. Saying, we've heard this but kind of before, but that's that catalyst. And like I said, Kevin is playing Bruce Wayne. Terry runs into him, and I actually want to play where they first meet.
Aw, the no fun boy had an accident.
Let's put a smile on his face.
Leave him alone. And get off my property. You're trespassing.
So that's when we get the elder Kevin Conroy as the elder Bruce Wayne, and Terry ends up going home with him, helping him out because Bruce gets in a fight with these guys. And that's a Joker gang, guys. Joker is gone at this point, and he's got a lot of folks that dress up like him, and they're gangs. They're robbing people. But Kevin is Bruce Wayne, and Terry goes to his house. It ends up inadvertently finding the Batcave. And there's a new fandangled bat suit. It never was made for Bruce. You can tell right away. It was made for one of the sidekicks, one of the Robins. And he ends up coming back. I can't remember if that's when his dad's killed and he comes back. But he comes back, gets the suit, steals it, and goes out. Or they steal his girlfriend or something. But anyway, he steals the suit to go and fight. And at first, Bruce shuts him down and fucks with him, but then they end up working together. And Bruce is his Alfred, basically,
surprisingly well.
Oh yeah, definitely. And but he's more than an Alfred because he guides him through stuff. And I really, really, really enjoyed seeing or hearing that side of Kevin Conroy and seeing that side of Bruce because it was Bruce. It's still Batman, but it's him. But and then
I don't know if you've thought about it, but when you're watching that, do you get the feeling that you're getting Bruce and Batman? You're no longer watching the Playboy Bruce or Batman. They're perfectly merged.
It's like Hulk. They screwed up on Professor Hulk, but yeah, it's that amalgamation of the two. And I want to say, before we move to the next thing, when I did the tally, when I said 303, or I said over 300, but it was 303 appearances. I do not count the collections because the next one is Batman Beyond, the movie that came out in 99, but that was just the first 6 episodes. And so he's not getting double credit on that. But what was next, man? Because the next one, I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, and it was one of the first ones that I rewatched upon getting the HBO subscription. So Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, 2000, it was in the year 2000. This one is really prominent for a lot of people, and I hope y'all also watched them. If you're a diehard Batman fan, and I can understand if you haven't watched a lot of different alterations and variations, for instance, like Batman Beyond, but you really need to be able to kind of understand different things. And later on, there's other characters that we'll end up talking about, but highly recommend watching. This one is where the Joker is back with a vengeance, and Gotham's newest Dark Knight, obviously we're referring to Batman Beyond, needs answers as he stands alone facing Gotham's most infamous clown prince of crime. Obviously, that is Joker.
Yeah, comes back. I don't remember where he was, but he comes back because he wasn't.
Yeah,
he had disappeared.
We discover that he's leading a certain gang of criminals that aren't posing as Joker's gang specifically. They kind of have their own established villainy with Batman Beyond. Because when he goes to fight them, he talks about how he's fighting them, but for some reason they have more of a goal this time, and you have some similarities to previous villains that Batman has faced, but not 100. Like the Scarecrow guy, he's not Scarecrow, but his looks are kind of themed after him. And so I like a lot of the nods, but it's not too much of that was cheesy or a knockoff. It went well blended.
Next up, he just played Bruce Wayne. I never even heard of this show. I don't know what it is. He's just in one episode. It's called the Zeta Project. And then he did a couple of video games. Batman Gotham City Racer came out in 2001. Batman Vengeance in 2000. Oh, wait, I got those backwards. Vengeance came out in 2000, and then City Racer came out in 2001. Did you play Vengeance?
That one may have been the one that I was referring to that I had played. I have to pull it up. Let me see here.
Don't worry about it. We still got a lot to go through here. And then one I just wanted to say here. This isn't Batman. He did a voice in Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne. He actually did several voices. That came out in 2003. And then the same year, he did another video game, Batman Rise of Sin Tzu. And I don't know anything about that.
On the original Xbox that I remember that it was on the original Xbox, and I had a disc, and we ended up losing it. And I think in 2016 or 2015, when I was playing Arkham Knight, because it just came out, I was going through my DVD collection, and out fell Batman: The Rise of Sin Tzu, and I sent you a picture. It was just a regular original Xbox game.
I remember that now. And so he did let's see here, 3 years of video games. And then he comes back the same year with a new animated movie, Batman Mystery of Batwoman, or The Batwoman, and that came out in 2003. And I enjoyed this one. This was one of those that I threw on one night just as background noise. I ended up watching the whole thing. And there's a new mass vigilante in town. It's not Barbara Gordon, which was Batgirl. And she copies Batman, his look, his style, except she's a more ruthless. She'll beat the shit out of people.
And we talk more about what the alterations of Batwoman going up towards the later part of his career.
Right. And, and again, Kevin is so versatile. He did a lot of other movies, folks, in between these, and a lot of other projects. And so, don't think he was pigeonholed into Batman. I talk about a few of them here in a minute. We do. But last one real quick, and then I'll switch it over to you, David. This was another cartoon. I don't know. Did you watch Static Shock?
Yeah, Static Shock was amazing. And it was something that I'm surprisingly didn't play out further. We haven't seen
There's a movie coming.
Well, right. But you're talking about all the way from like 2002 to now, when you have all of these money being put into it, and people talking about diversity of superhero characters.
Right,
and
exactly.
This one was character. People talk about that, and I'm like, boom! And I start thinking about Static Shock, and I'm like, what has taken so long?
Well, Kevin only appeared in it for 5 episodes, but he did appear as Batman, and this was his first classic animated series.
Did this to you?
Not what? Who?
What did this to you?
Not what?
Didn't mean to play that twice. With the lightning, classic voice, classic look, steps out of the shadows. Folks, if you haven't watched Static Shock, I don't know where it's available, but there was 3 seasons. It is definitely worth a shot. But David, what was up next? And actually, I guess this kind of
far. Yeah, I was gonna say we might want to go ahead and introduce what we mentioned earlier, our sponsor Colgate, and a word from them.
Got it. Hey everyone, it's a known fact that when brushing, most people miss up to 40% of their teeth. But thankfully, the Hum by Colgate has you covered. Hum by Colgate is a smart toothbrush and app combination that will give you and the kids sparkling smiles and more of them. Colgate is the official sponsor of Into the GeekVerse, and you can get into the rhythm of better brushing by heading over to shop.colgate.com. As an official insider, you can use discount code GEEK20 and get 20% off the Hum by Colgate. That's shop.colgate.com and discount code GEEK20. And of course, thanks so much to Colgate for sponsoring the show. We've got them for a few more weeks too. And I do want to back up real quick. When I'm not sure on this next one because the show started in 2001, so it maybe had needed to go earlier. But go ahead, tell them what was next in 2000.
Definitely. So the Justice League, where he made a Batman appearance, and obviously is one of the major characters and contributors to the Justice League. This spanned, as he mentioned, 2001, 2004, 37 episodes, but
He's only in 37 episodes. There may have been more.
Yeah, my bad. I misspoke. There's a ton of Justice League episodes, giving a lot of characters. And I recently rewatched the Justice League Unlimited, which we hear about in a second. That's following up after this. But before moving on to the more of the end of the series, do you remember about the Justice League? And to me, I've got a question because we're talking about Batman mainly here and what Kevin Conroy contributed. Right. But this was my first introduction to the idea of Justice League before reading comics and stuff. What before that, did you get did you see a lot of Batman in the Justice League before it went on TV?
Yeah, because even back in the 70s, man, they had Super Friends, and that was the Justice League. Meanwhile, in the Hall of Justice, and that was the Justice League with Batman, of course, not Kevin Conroy. I didn't read any of those comics. I didn't read any Justice League. I read a shitload of Batman comics, but I didn't read that.
To lead into it, and we've kind of mentioned this before, when you saw comics and you read Justice League and Batman and stuff before being able to see this and hear Kevin Conroy and everything, how would you describe what you read that voice as, and when you heard Kevin Conroy start voicing him?
Well, you got to remember, I had the Michael Keaton Batman, and so, but it was basically along that lines, that just deep, kind of gruff, and able to get scary, and then Kevin, to me, he must have read a good amount of comics, and I'd like to see if there's any interviews with him that discuss that, because he really captured, both. He captured the Batman and the Bruce Wayne voice, because they are different. It's not the same voice with that a lot of people iterations of Batman did. It is, he has the Bruce Wayne voice and he has the Batman voice, and that comes into play in a lot of these because he does just play one or the other.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things that I like, and you get with some of these other Batmans that play, is even though I'm fine with it, you can hear where their voices like raspy playing, and you can feel like they're roughing it up. But with him, it feels natural. It feels like it's him, and he's portraying, and he as he always says, because he was a big fan of going to comic book conventions and meeting fans, and he always talked, and he says several times he loves flexing the muscle as what Batman can be produced out onto voice acting, or even later when he plays actual Bruce live action wise, the challenges and what he does to elevate it for us, the audience. It was great. I want to thank him so much because it made my childhood.
And like you said, forever we're going to hear that voice on anything animated. I've got stacks of comics around here I'm ready to read. That I've collected, Batman, of course, but Kevin did give us so much, and we've still got a lot of stuff here. Like I said, folks, it's not just
2000s,
right? And so we do got to pump through. I know the show will be a little more than an hour, folks. We're not going to go on for forever, but we want to.
But we're paying tribute.
Yeah, we want to pay tribute to Kevin. We want to do it right. Like I said, we want to. We're not necessarily going to break down the whole wrap of the shows and stuff but a lot of these we've seen them, we love them, and Kevin did such a great job that we want to discuss them. Like I said a while ago, I didn't count collections. The next up was Justice League Starcross. That was just the final 3 episodes of Justice League, and then it moved into the one that you liked a lot.
Absolutely. So Justice League Unlimited that I mentioned previously before, I feel like this one has, it says 18 episodes that he was entered in for that, but I think perhaps he played a much bigger role. But also, if I remember right, at the beginning of the Justice League animated that we're talking about, they actually go to kill off Batman in the first 2 episodes. And so if you want to learn more about that, go check out that HBO, hop on and watch these, because once you get into those first 2 episodes, you'll be hooked for the long haul. But moving on, because today is about Kevin Conroy. After the Justice League Unlimited, we move into The Batman, which was from 2004 to 2008. But he was only in one episode, and he was none other than John Grayson.
Which would be Dick Grayson's dad, I'm going to guess, because I didn't look it up. But Kevin plays, he's still a Batman character, but that's Dick Grayson's dad, who Dick Grayson is the first Robin, and then he's now Nightwing.
Grayson's.
Yeah, he was with
the
the
circus. And I love Nightwing.
Now, this next one I watched just the other day because doing research for this about Kevin, the trailer interested me, and it's it's 6 interlocking films by 6 directors, and I do want to play the trailer for this because Kevin plays 6 different versions between different Bruces, different Batman, or Batmans, however you want to say it. But check it out, everybody.
I'm willing to put my life on the line to do what I have to. But it has to be mine, no one else's.
Whoa, I've gone across that one several times, and I was certain I've seen it, but watching that, it's not what I was thinking when I go across it. I'm like, oh, I've seen that one, moving on.
And saying, I thought you had seen it because it's one of those that you and I can really enjoy, because it is kind of an Elseworlds kind of tell, but the animation skips too. You've got some anime style. You've got this style at the very beginning. Some of the listeners will know it's called Shadow of the Bat. It was a comic run that was very stylized in the artwork. His ears were really, really pointy, but it had some great storylines. And this, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, doing the research for this about Kevin Conroy, came across that, and I was like, hell, I'm going to watch it before the show.
And I can't believe we haven't mentioned it, and I wanted to take a minute. We should have mentioned this at the beginning. Guys, I really want to acknowledge and respect that it wasn't but I think 2 days after Kevin Conroy passed, I went to rewatch Mask of Phantasm, one of the first ones back there. They already put in memory of Kevin Conroy in there, and I really respect that, and it means so much to me that they're already paying respects. And it wasn't it like 2 days after?
Yeah, it was no longer than. And then I didn't realize you had watched Mask of the Phantasm, and last night I went to go watch it, and I thought it was a different one, and I sent you a note saying, hey, they already got this on, and we realized, we both watched the same thing. But next up, man, this was a video game that changed a lot, and man, we got full on Batman. The video game just started a series of them, and it was awesome. And David, tell them what it was. A lot of them are going to know, but what was it?
Batman Arkham Asylum, of course, 2009. As he mentioned, this game was revolutionary. When we played it, we got, in a way, I would dare say, comparable to cinematically the Batman. We got the slums of Gotham, and we're getting knee deep
And
into
you
the streets of the bad guys, the criminals, the insane, and this started a infamous trilogy that sparked a really huge debate recently about the newest Gotham Knights that came out, and we'll talk about more after we talk
Right.
about this trilogy. But yeah, Matthew, I gotta say, I really enjoyed the options, how long. It was one of the first games that I could play over again.
Oh
And there
yeah,
wasn't
I
many
grabbed
that
mine
could do
today.
that.
I was in storage today getting some Christmas decorations, saw it, grabbed it. And folks, if you don't know about Arkham Asylum, this is almost a 2-minute trailer. I promise you, we're not playing a bunch of long stuff tonight. If you're listening on the podcast, again, I do recommend that you come over to the YouTube channel and watch, because there is a lot
This is a special tribute.
Yeah, a special tribute to Kevin Conroy. And so we are showing some of his work and listening to some of his work. And so this was one of his best appearances as Batman. Check it out.
The Joker has been apprehended. Batman is now en route to Arkham Island.
Look at all this new security.
How's a guy supposed to break out of here?
Don't be a stranger.
He surrendered almost without a fight. I don't like it.
At least he's back where he belongs. Get up!
I set a trap, and you sprang it gloriously. Now let's get this party started!
There's no escape, Joker.
I don't want to escape. I'm having way too much fun.
It's over, Joker.
Over? Why, my dear delusional Dark Knight, it hasn't even begun.
Man,
Ooh,
after
man,
seeing
this-
that, I'm looking forward to playing it again. I guarantee you, Thursday, Thanksgiving, when I'm tired of the family, I'll be coming in here and playing Arkham Asylum.
This game we talked about was revolutionary, and we talked about what we got to experience. But what I didn't get to talk about was how amazing the fighting aspect. This was so good to be able to play a video game that you could channel your own Batman. You could become brutal and attack worthy encounters. You could become stealth. You could rely on your gadgets. You could channel your own Batman to play how you wanted. You weren't reliant on a video game to tell you how to play.
batarangs. And it's great, folks. It really is. It's one of the best games ever. Like I said, I grabbed mine today.
But talking about Kevin Conroy, as this is all about it, we're getting a more in-depth feel of this video game. And once again, showing how he flexed his voice muscles to be able to portray the emotions that you're seeing in a video game, which is really hard because there's a lot of things going on at once. In an animated series, you've got one direction. You want the audience to follow. You have a way that you're going to do it. And with a video game, that's just different, especially with one that's not like an animated show or a series
it's
wanting
darker.
you to follow a story. This one, yeah, It's dark. It's got a lot. And what if you're playing more stealth and stuff? Like, there was so much work I bet he had to do. Is he gonna whisper in his Batman voice, or is he gonna be very threatening? Like, it just it gives me chills thinking about how amazing it was for us to be able to have him partnered with Rocksteady to create these games for us.
Yep, it was great. And then, dude, I didn't put down the year for the next couple, but in the chronological order that I have, it was Superman, Batman, Public Enemies, another great animated movie with Kevin Conroy as Batman. Lex Luthor gets elected as president, and there's an oncoming asteroid with kryptonite, a meteor, and to strike Earth, and he uses that as a rationale to frame Superman, and it's another great story. And then comes a series. I never watched an episode. I didn't like the way the animation looked. I just never watched an episode. David, what was that?
That one was Batman the Brave and the Bold.
And he only played Batman and no, he didn't even play Batman.
Yeah, the Phantom Stranger, Batman of Zur in R. If I'm saying that right. But the Brave and the Bold has been, I think, a couple of different iterations, but I don't think I've liked any of them.
Yeah.
Guys, if y'all are out there and you want to talk to us, we're big Batman fans. Tonight we're not talking about it too much because we're honoring Kevin Conroy, but our emails are always open. The comments in our YouTubes, you can enlighten us with your opinions. But Matthew, moving on after the Brave and the Bold, really excited to hear from you on this one. Go ahead.
Oh man, I loved another animated with Kevin, 2010 Superman Batman Apocalypse. This was a great team up with Batman and Superman. Batman discovers a teenage girl with superhuman powers with a connection to Superman. And when she comes to the attention of Darkseid, which of course he's the overlord of Apocalypse, things start happening big time. And isn't it Supergirl?
Yeah, I believe so. I think this is also the movie that I wish I had a clip now that I remember of it. He one-on-one Darkseid with his intelligence and wins. Obviously, you're seeing this big, burly man, and watching Kevin Conroy's voice basically talk down to Darkseid and just be like, "You think you've got this one." Right. But what are you going to do when, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but being able to watch him intellectually beat Darkseid with his voice. Thing. It's not even much of the animated or threatening motions he does. It's his voice and the determination. And it was really amazing, and we should have grabbed that one for this, but we have so much to show y'all and talk about.
Next up was a couple of video games again. He did the DC Universe Online. I did check that out. It was kind of cool, but I just couldn't get into it. That was in 2011, and there were several DLC add-ons. I did not count them in my voice count on this because it's all part of the game, and some of them were just really short. Same with Batman Arkham City, which is a video game. No connection. It's the sequel to Arkham Asylum. And this fucker was, it was fantastic, man. You got an open Gotham City. You're swinging around. You can jump down and beat the shit out of anybody, or start a fight rather. And you do get your butt whipped sometimes if you're not careful. And you can follow the straight mission, or you can go do these side missions, or you can just go screw around and fly around with your cape. Another great game if you haven't played it. But what was up next, David? Because this was one you wanted to talk about especially.
Absolutely. So this one embodies something that I think a lot of people have discussed, and what Batman is. We've got Justice League Doom. Of course, this is Justice League, but as you'll see on the cover image, and it's even made our intro today if you're looking at a thumbnail. It's a 2002, and Vandal Savage. 2012. Did I say 2002? My bad.
Yeah.
2012, Vandal Savage steals confidential files Batman has compiled on the members of the Justice League and learns all their weaknesses. So basically, you're going to watch a little short that I've got here for you explaining just what we like about Batman.
And
Go ahead and pull this up here.
Hurry up.
The plans were mine.
You're what now?
I've carefully studied every Justice League, past and present, and created contingency plans to neutralize you if that ever become necessary.
You gotta be kidding me.
Neutralize, not kill. Whoever implemented my plans altered me.
It's still a completely unacceptable breach of our trust.
The members of the Justice League are among the most powerful and potentially dangerous people on the planet.
You think one of us would go over to the other side?
Or succumb to mind control? Yes, it's possible. That's why I developed plans for containing any or all members of the JLA should the need ever arise.
None of us would ever do that to you.
Then you're damn fools.
It's exactly right. I mean, there's that detective. There's that smart man that we all know and love as Batman. But again, Kevin is just on point, man. He's Batman. Again, Kevin, thank you so much for so many years of serving as Batman and putting on that cape and cowl. And because you brought us a lot of years of entertainment, and there's still more. There's still more. Next was another revolutionary game, man. It's Injustice, Gods Among Us. And this was in 2013, and it's by the creators of Mortal Kombat. And that's what it is. It's a fighting game, man. It's set in an alternate universe where Superman establishes a new world order. And this follows a familiar storyline. But he is a dictator, basically. And Batman and other heroes got to fight back against him and a bunch of superheroes that have joined his side. This is kind of like Civil War. But you get to go Mortal Kombat on each other, and there's some cool moves, man. You can throw people through walls. You can pick up a car and slam it on their heads. If you have not played that one, that's another one, man, along with the Arkham series.
And when you're talking about games that's like this, and even the previous movie that we mentioned, when Kevin Conroy is able to give us this fierce voice, but it's calm, and it delivers this excellence and something that you like this human is talking to practically a god and telling him, like, this is what's up and you're wrong.
Right.
But he does it in a calm and determined way that once again is one of the reasons he is established as the Batman,
And up next, Kevin Conroy and Kevin Smith had made a friendship over the years. Because Kevin Smith is a huge Batman fan. He's directed some episodes of the animated series, I believe. He's scripted some comics for Batman. And so Kevin appeared in Jay and Silent Bob's Super Groovy cartoon movie in 2013. But he was just a mayor of Red Bank. He wasn't Batman. I just thought that was cool. Like I said, Kevin appeared in a lot of stuff other than Batman stuff.
And speaking of their relationship, I even showed you the video since we're talking about Kevin Conroy. I do want to reach out, and as sad as Kevin Conroy's passing is, we definitely got to see a video of how bad this affected Kevin Smith and him telling a wonderful story between them two and what had happened. If you have not checked it out, I would highly recommend you go and look up Kevin Smith. He's at, I believe, a con or something, and a fan asked,
and it's just like the next day. It's like the next day or the day after.
He tells a really moving story that if you are
it teared me up.
Kevin, you definitely got to Justice and watch it. It is pretty long. We couldn't include it, but I would check it out.
And next up is Kevin Conroy as Batman again in another movie. And this one really kicks off a new generation of the animated movies and stuff that we both discussed. And it's, I know it's one that you like a lot. Just kind of touch on it briefly, because we don't want to give too much away.
Absolutely. So, Justice League Flashpoint Paradox is a movie, came out in 2013, and it is a launching point for all the way up to pretty much the biggest, most recent DC animated movies, and they all link together. They don't seem like it when you start watching it, but then you start realizing all of them are connected. But basically, if you don't know the story about the Flashpoint Paradox, you see that the Flash has an issue that he goes to fix back in time, and he realizes that when he goes back in time, he changes everything. When this changed, then you see, instead of the Justice League becoming together, they're fighting each other. As you imagine, this would pretty much be an entire world war, and it's one of my favorite. I would count this as a Flash movie.
Oh yeah,
and we don't see a lot, especially with the Flash canceling so many times.
And isn't that the what the storyline is of the Flash movie, that Ezra Miller keeps screwing up?
Essentially, but from what I'm hearing is it's gonna be a different. There's different details that they're changing about it, but essentially kind of the same. But I don't think that they're doing the whole Justice League War thing. I think they're just doing a Flash.
Let's take a quick look at the Flashpoint Paradox. This is a minute long.
World War III. Maybe I could have stopped it if I just ran a little faster. Faster! The Speed Force allows the Reverse Flash to travel through time. He changed something in the past. We have to find out what he changed and change it back before they kill everyone on the planet. In my world, I'm a hero.
You mean like Batman?
No matter how fast you run, you can't save everyone.
We're running out of time.
War's over. Everybody lost. No! You'd be amazing.
Ooh,
I cut it
for
off
an
there.
old trailer, that still gets you like, I want to watch it again.
And
but
Kevin's in it prominently.
I could be wrong, but I know for a fact that that's not Bruce Wayne playing. It's Thomas Wayne, and because it changes, Bruce died instead of that. He doesn't play Batman Thomas Wayne. He plays Bruce Wayne, which is in the beginning, not in.
Well, you can hear him a couple of times in the clips. But moving on to the next stuff, there's a couple of little things here that were just kind of one-offs. I haven't seen them. I got to check them out now that I know about them. One is called Tales of Metropolis, came out in 2013. This was animated shorts that just kind of went over the everyday lives of Superman's citizens, you know, in Metropolis. And he played Batman in one episode. And then came Batman Strange Days in 2014. This was some TV short. And Kevin Conroy plays Batman, who rescues a pretty blonde captive from Hugo Strange, who needs her blood for an evil experiment. And I don't know how long these movies are. I didn't pay attention to see where they could be viewed. Folks, if you know in the audience, throw it in. And I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. I see a lot of people on Facebook and YouTube, a few people over at YouTube. But the next after Strange Days is another great movie that comes in along of the DCU. Tell us.
So, Batman Assault on Arkham is the 2014 movie. Batman works desperately to find a bomb that's planted by the Joker. While Amanda Waller hires her newly formed Suicide Squad to break into Arkham Asylum to recover a vital information stolen by the Riddler, which is a that's just a lot packed into one short description. I mean, you're talking about Batman who's investigating Joker, as normal, but then we get Amanda Waller, which is infamous for the Suicide Squad. You're getting the Riddler that's thrown in there, which is always a really good combo between the Riddler and Joker. But now you've got this unpredictable team of Suicide Squads to play with. And
I'm gonna have to watch that one again.
As much as the assault plays out, we're hearing Kevin Conroy's detective skills and his voice explaining us through it, not babying, but like in a way that, as Batman gives us just that really good feel. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, folks, I know we're at the hour mark here. Stick with us, though. We only got a few more years, several more appearances by him. But I did want to throw this out real quick, folks. It's just a quick little word from one of our sponsors. And so we'll be right back.
Check it out. MobileEdge.com has award-winning products with innovative features and contemporary, edgy designs that empower you to look sharp and travel smart with your mobile tech. Your beloved, not to mention expensive gaming gear and mobile tech devices are an extension of you, so give them the protection and style they deserve wherever you go. Find them at MobileEdge.com and protect your tech with Mobile Edge. Bring it on. Hey Geek Insiders, Mobile Edge has a special coupon code for our dedicated listeners. Get 25% off your Mobile Edge gear using coupon code GEEK25. That's GEEK25. Geek out.
All right. And so thanks for sticking with us. Again, we are tipping our hats to Kevin Conroy, the man who played Batman for 30 years and over 300 appearances. And so
time for us to go over an hour, it would definitely be the show for us to show our thanks to him, all he's done to provide for us, the voice of Batman, something that will forever be instilled in just a worldwide of people.
And, I was telling David before the show, a lot of the shows I do quite a bit of prep for, gathering stuff up, and David as well. But I spent more time on gathering everything together for this one and prepping it than I have on most shows. The next thing up, I just thought this was kind of cool. He's in a short film. It's called Alfred, and he plays he has the voice of Alfred, but it's a dog that talks in rhymes, and the owner is schizophrenic. So I don't even know if the dog is really talking. But Kevin Conroy plays the voice of Alfred. I just because at first I see Alfred and I was like, wait, this is a Batman show I hadn't heard about, and he's Alfred. But that was pretty cool. And then, but the next Batman is another cool video game. I didn't really play this one. Did you? Infinity Crisis?
No, I actually don't recall of the video game.
Or Infinite Crisis, not.
Yeah, but either it's escaping my mind or I haven't heard of it.
Well, then there was another, and these could be, I didn't look at the description on this one, and I should have, because there are several mobile games that he did. And and that's the next one, Batman versus Robin in 2015. It's gone now, but this was a free-to-play multiplayer online battle arena where you got to be DC heroes or villains, and you fought with each other, kind of like one we're going to talk about here in a little bit, but it's bigger. And then, and I'll go through this, and then you get the next one, which is really good. He did a short film as Batman that was used at Six Flags theme parks for the ride Justice League Battle for Metropolis 4D. And so I'm not sure if those rides are still going, probably, because this was in 2015. And so I'm sure he still appears. And what was up next is with Kevin Conroy as Batman.
The most exciting one that I hope everyone can really have a chance to play is going to be Batman Arkham Knight. This was one of the biggest video games. This was the end of the trilogy that Rocksteady was producing for one of us. Not to be confused with Gotham Knights, which just came out, which is separate from the Arkham series.
Right.
But Arkham Knight was a way more in depth compared to what we were talking about Arkham City and Arkham Origin, where you get to play against just like all the different villains, and you get to go in the city, you get to use the vehicles, the cosmetics is off the chart, being able to do for the the Batmobile, his Robins, Nightwings. You can play the Joker, you can play Harley Quinn, but let me pull up here my thing like shorted out my notes. But this one did come out in 2015, as he did a lot in 2015. But with his back against the wall, Batman turns to his closest allies to help him save Gotham City from the clutches of Scarecrow and the Arkham Knight's army. A familiar face will also return to give the Dark Knight a message he cannot ignore. What I want to share with y'all is not the official trailer just for the game, but this is actually a trailer with more of kind of an interview with Kevin Conroy, and I wanted to show y'all that. Let me pull this up here.
Scarecrow said he had a plan, that together we could take you out, and Gotham would be ours.
Over my dead body.
I believe that was the idea.
In this game, Scarecrow comes to destroy Batman, basically. Every aspect of Batman is challenged. Every aspect of his identity is challenged.
Alfred, analyze the militia forces, troop deployments, equipment movements. I want to know exactly what I'm up against.
This part of the trilogy is a much more psychological challenge for Batman. He's being ripped apart, and he's fighting for his identity. For me as an actor, it was a blast to get to flex those muscles.
There we go.
Go to hell!
Where is he? Talk! Or I'll crush every bone in your body.
The only people left on the streets are the sort that enjoy the chaos. Scum, criminals, and worse.
Commissioner Gordon is...
Oh, wow.
Alrighty, so there is a lot more to that trailer, and he comes back in a little bit later on, but that is a full 6 minutes long, and we've got a lot to discuss. Right. But I wanted to show y'all with that because we got to hear from Kevin Conroy himself about this video game and the challenges Batman had to go through. Once again, everything that we've applied to the other video games applies here. As I mentioned, I was not lying, folks. He does mention he loves to flex that muscle a lot, right. Being able to do that character development, which you've heard me say so much when it's written and stuff, but it also plays towards the actor who is delivering it to us, which I can't think of a better example than Kevin Conroy for doing that character development for us. Thank you.
And this next one that Kevin was in as Batman is a kick-ass storyline. I've known the storyline. I've written about the storyline, and then the movie came out. That's Batman: The Killing Joke. Another animated movie came out in 2016. This one is if you're a Joker fan, a Batman fan, this is one to watch. It's gritty. This is not for children, folks. Batman hunts for Joker, and because he escaped from Arkham, and he attacks the Jim Gordon and Barbara to prove a diabolical point, mirroring his own fall into madness. He's trying to get Jim Gordon to go nuts. And I'm not going to ruin it, folks. There is an article on Geek Insider about it. And then, of course, there's the movie. There's the comic book, which goes into a little bit more graphic detail. But, again, Kevin plays Batman, and it tests him. He gets to flex that muscle a lot because he gets stressed a lot. There's horror. There is
sadness.
It's just a really, really good flick. And then next
now
up,
there was. Oh,
no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say there was one. I don't know if you mean to skip that we do have on our list, It was actually a mobile game, Batman Arkham Underworld. I did look this up. I haven't actually gotten to see it. It was in 2016. But it was like most wanted Gotham City criminals, and you had to pull off high stakes heists without falling a part of any of the scheme. This was just something that we had that I've got before the Killing Joke.
Gotcha.
But I just wanted to.
I know I seen it as I was going through this. Crap, send that to me in a text message because I'm writing up an article with all of these with just the. Well, no, I ain't gonna do the description anyway. So, oh well, yeah, I need it in the list. So send it to me with the date. But anyway, next came up just a couple of games that you may have played. I can't do VR. I get motion sickness. But there was Batman Arkham VR that came out in 2016, which is set before the events of Arkham Knight, and you play as Batman to find the case of or to investigate the case of Nightwing being beaten to death. And man, that sounds like a cool game.
Now, I've seen several different shorts. I didn't get to do it. I owned a VR for a short period of time, but unfortunately, due to both me and Matthew's kind of vision, I use very high end equipment to help stabilize me and not get sick and stuff while I'm playing. But with this one, you actually get to see Batman as he's trying to investigate Nightwing's death, him talking and envisioning Nightwing in it, which was just chilling.
He's doing it more detective stuff. I remember that.
Yeah, which I love when we're getting the detective side of him, as well as Kevin Conroy's voice of him being a detective is just bone chilling.
Yeah, because he has a different voice for when he's addressing the Robins or Alfred, where he's Batman. Sometimes they sound the same, but he has different inflections. And at the same time, I don't know the exact publishing dates. I'd have to look, but they came out with Viewmaster Batman animated VR. I hadn't heard of this, man, but this was Batman TAS, the animated series Batman. And this was a mobile VR game. It's based on the animated series, and Bats needs help with his missions. And so he made the Batwing remote controlled and hooked it up to a holographic video monitor that he or Alfred could use to talk to you. And so I don't know if this game is still going on. Since it's on mobile, I might actually be able to play that. And so I may have to check that out. I'm going to look it up while you talk about the next stuff.
Yeah, so that one, I believe I remember seeing it come out. It's part of one of the mobile VR sets where you put your phone into the VR, you put the VR over your head.
I got you. No, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was one that we tried. If you're going to do anything, it would definitely need to be the Oculus, because with that one, you definitely feel like everything's far away, but the one on your face doesn't really give you that feel with your phone. But moving past the Viewmaster Batman animated VR, we get into Injustice 2, which was one of Matthew's favorite Batman video games, along with the Arkham series.
Right.
Now, this one was the 2017. It is the sequel to that 2013 Injustice Gods Among Us. And Superman's totalitarian reign over the Earth is over, and Batman and the crew are attempting to piece the world back together, only to be faced with a new threat that will cause them to do the unthinkable. Without spoiling too much, I hope that gives you a good idea. This is following the idea, if I remember right, of Mortal Kombat, the fighting game. You get to do so. If you like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighters, that kind of style of game, but you like the story.
Yeah, and the difference between Injustice and this, besides the storyline, you do get some different moves. You get, I think you get a couple of extra characters. There's some DLC you can get. Isn't that the one I got Lobo on? And I'm pretty sure it is. But yeah, it was a very, very cool game. I think I have that on DLC, and so I might have to.
It comes on a lot of like the Xbox Game Pass and stuff, I do believe. But the next one, which was one of my introduction of favorites, favorite little animated movies, is Batman and Harley Quinn. This is 2017. It is a newer one, and this one is talked about quite highly. I mean, social media and everywhere. Probably the most famous part is Nightwing and Harley Quinn having sex. Batman walking in on it. But Batman and Nightwing are forced to team up
And
with
there's a
Harley.
funny part there too. It's not just the sex. There's some laughs.
Yeah, no, this is one of the very comedic ones. You've got the action, but you've got a very tasteful amount of
Oh, I just
comedy.
meant when they're caught in bed.
Yeah.
There's some funny moments there.
Yeah. But they're trying to stop global threat brought by Poison Ivy and Jason Woodrue, the Floronic Man.
Let me look here. Yeah, Floronic Man. I guess that's how you pronounce it.
When we do the long shows, it's just kind of like it get done.
And I don't even remember. I mean, I remember I liked it. I remember it was Harley, and I remember Nightwing and stuff. I don't remember Floronic Man. I don't remember the whole storyline.
But Matthew, lead us on after that. It looks like we have a series, but I got to ask. We've got it marked 2016, but we've just gone over a couple of the 2017 stuff. Okay.
Because he only appeared. There's 52 episodes, and he only appeared in 42. Again, before I do the article, I got to get these in the right order. But this was
Make sure to check out that article, by the way, guys, because we're gonna have it out with much more accurate dates and some information.
Right.
I guarantee you're gonna enjoy it. If you're there, if you love that kind of stuff, check out our newsletter. It's gonna be filled with much more geek stuff for you to be able to enjoy for much to come.
Yeah, because we're gonna mention something here in a little bit before we end. But then they did. Again, I didn't count this because it's just shorts of the Justice League action. It's called Justice League Action Shorts. They were just 10 2-minute short episodes. And, now that I think about it, that might needed to go in as total. I didn't check these out. With it just being 2 minutes, it doesn't say it's clips. And so it might have been episodes.
The Justice League action is something that is rising in the social media. And you may have not noticed it and thought about it be something to watch because it is in an animation style of more of a kid's cartoon, not like animated series, but it is much more kid cartoonish. However, there's some really funny moments there where, for one example, Kevin Conroy is on the invisible jet with Wonder Woman, Superman, and everybody, and he says something about, why do you own an invisible jet if y'all can all fly anyways? And she says something back to him, and Superman in the back of the jet goes, it's almost like I can see his blood boiling from here. So there is some funny moments, and I think I've got to check it out. Yeah, but I've always thought it was more of a kid cartoon. I'm like, I don't really want
thing.
Thing.
And again,
but seeing that,
a lot of these are on HBO Max, folks, and again, over 300 appearances as Batman. And did you play this next one? The Lego DC Supervillains?
Yes, a little bit. I've played a little bit of all of the Lego Batman.
That's what I was thinking.
Ones. And to be honest, I kind of got away from it thinking like I'm not really a kid anymore, but it's not really. Lego games aren't really just for kids. I just bought that whole new revamped Lego Star Wars Complete Saga one. Been playing it with my dad. And it's just kind of cool to get back and not have complicated stuff. It's just kind of cool to get into it, see the side Easter eggs and stuff. And it's more of an adventure than a challenge.
I'm going to have to check those out. I know my girls like the Harry Potter ones, and you told me about the Star Wars ones. I hadn't played any of them. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, the Lego DC Supervillains video game that was 2018. The supervillains from the DC universe starts a battle against a group of superheroes from another universe. Obviously, we've got Kevin Conroy in there as Batman to be able to go against these said villains. And it wasn't bad. I haven't played the whole thing altogether, but the Lego games aren't that bad. I will say, though, I think one of the things that threw me off was his voice. You got such a serious thing on this such non-serious Lego character.
Gotcha.
But
go ahead. No, you cover the next one because then I got a couple of things to say on the next one.
So the next one was Teen Titans Go, the one episode. Batman. I gonna be honest, haven't seen it. I only have seen a little bit of Teen Titans Go,
Same
and
here.
I'm disgusted by it. I was
Yeah, I
such
don't
a
like
big
it at
fan of
all.
Teen Titans, the original one. I don't
Right.
like that Robin's not a leader. He's a pansy little fool that everybody goes over. Starfire's not this shy but super
Right.
powerful person. You know, right?
And Kevin only appears as the Batman, the animated series Batman, in one episode, but I'm the same way. It's fun to watch it sometimes just because it's goofy, but I hate what they did to Robin. I don't like what they did with Beast Boy. It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a right place for Goofy, and the first Teen Titans split the episodes where there was story and then there was Goofy filler, but it was still it still did characters justice, and this one was completely like, hey, what if we just shit on these characters and then just
Right.
like, and I'm like, no. But anyways, enough
Yeah.
about hate. We're here celebrating Kevin Conroy.
And the next
after
one,
Teen Titans Go, Matthew, tell us about
yeah,
his-
this one now, some people mistake this as Kevin's final appearance as Batman. It is his 300th appearance as Batman, and that's Justice League versus the Fatal Five. This came out, and I'm giving specific dates here because you'll see why. It came out March 29th, 2019. As I said, it's his 300th time. I watched this one just the other day. And then I want to play a couple of clips, and then I want to say something else, and then we'll let you give some feedback here. Just a second.
I'm not doing this with a teenager. Point taken.
I love that. And then here was his final little speech in Fatal Five that some people mistake as his last.
That you're part of the Justice League.
Oh, I know. Wait, what? Hell yes, I do. And thanks.
I didn't say how I voted.
This is one of the amazing things about Kevin Conroy when you're not seeing him, but you're getting this voice. I guess I also got to give props. We haven't even mentioned it once. The animated team behind these video games and series
that's
that
a good
put
point.
that movement behind his voice to give us this amazing character. So
Over so many years,
right?
And bro, I don't know when the last time you watched this, but they made Bloodsport a QAnon believer. He is this radical, just far right nut job. He's talking about he wants JFK to show up and admit his assassination was a fake. And then there was this futuristic Skeletor. They call him Skeletor, and I was like, dude, Skeletor's from He-Man. But it is a really good movie. Don't get me wrong with the Bloodsport thing. I really enjoyed it. An alternate or some villains from an alternate universe end up here, or actually from the future, but an alternate timeline. They end up here, and Batman and the Justice League have to fight them, and I really enjoyed it. Did you want to say anything on that? We're almost done here, folks. We only got the final appearances of Kevin Conroy as Batman.
Definitely. I won't add too much. It is a movie y'all should definitely go check out. It raises a lot of new interests into different things, and you do have a valid point on Bloodsport, but looking at it and watching it overall, it is something to check out and just enjoy. You know, they have different characters. Like I believe that's the one with the female Green Lantern, and so you've got different idea of characters and you can kind of enjoy.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a Miss Martian, and we talked about the what else did you just say? Green Lantern, the female Green Lantern. I don't know that she's appeared in anything else, but this was just a couple of years ago, and these movies sometimes are spaced out, so we may be seeing more of her. But in that one, it's Batman or Kevin Conroy as Batman and Bruce Wayne. And then go ahead, take us through the next one, the next two, and I'll play the clip.
Gotcha. So we then go into Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. We're getting specific dates here. This was September 19th of 2019. So as we're finishing up, as Matthew has said, some of the things on Google are claiming some of these are his last things, like Justice League, The Fatal Five, but you dive more into other things. Now, he was in one episode, season 1, episode 13. I did not get to see this. Matthew, did you happen to get to see it?
No.
Which is weird because I am a Scooby-Doo fan.
I am too, but I hadn't watched any in years, man.
Yeah.
And that one sounds kind of cool. And I don't know if it's the animated series, Kevin Conroy, or if it's I imagine it is. But no, because it'd be the Justice League one, and that's a different style of Batman.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't get to see it.
Next, we do have Batwoman. This was a live action. This is recently done by the CW. And he actually played live action in this one as the Batman. And this was December 9th of 2019. And it was season 1, episode 9, Bruce Wayne. I say Batman just because we've been calling him Batman this entire time. Right. More correctively, though, he shows up as Bruce Wayne. And I believe you wanted to show us something about this, Matthew.
Well, yeah, it's just a quick thing. We played it last week. This was Kevin Conroy's iconic line as Batman. And it'll give me chills for the rest of my life. I love it. Here you go.
I am vengeance. I am the Knight. I am Batman!
Yes, sir. You certainly were. And are.
Now, usually that one, he didn't show up in an exoskeleton suit, which in Batwoman, he was put in a exoskeleton suit as Bruce Wayne because of all the damage done to his body as Batman.
And he was a dick. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole Batwoman
thing.
Series. They've changed who's playing the Batwoman, and there's been some. I don't know. The only bits I've watched was the crossover with all the other CWs for Infinite Crisis on Earth.
If you're wanting to catch Kevin's appearance in this and live action as Bruce Wayne, it's season 1, episode 9. And then, okay, again, this was an area that some folks are saying is the final appearance of him with the voice of Batman, but that's not true. They also, some people only say he only did 28 years as Batman. That's not true. Yes, Batwoman came out 3 years ago, 2019. But a video game came out this year, and it's called Multiverses. I had not heard of this until I was doing the research about Kevin. This came out this year, and this is a fighting game, but this is not like Injustice.
It's more like Smash Brothers.
Yeah, it's more like Smash Brothers, and as it is the official. Well, we'll talk about one more thing in a second, but this is the official last thing we're going to see in a normal context. We may see it in something else in a tribute and stuff that we'll talk about in a second. But this is the full trailer for Multiverses, and I'm showing it to you because after I saw it, I will be getting this game. Check it out.
Strange energy signature detected.
Computer, what's my location? Computer.
Hey, dude! What's going on here?
Where am I? What's up, Doc?
Look out!
Hey!
Whoa! Look! What'd I do to you?
Not cool.
Whoa! You all right? Wow, that was messed up how that thing tornadoed you.
Ow!
You are the cutest little guy. I'm calling you Slobber, because you look like your name might be Slobber. Oh, you're gonna pay for attacking Slobber.
Look out below!
Okay, we get the gist of it. That's going on too long, but Kevin plays Batman again, and what it is, folks, I'm sure that's not actual gameplay, of course. It's just the trailer. But it is like David said, it's like Smash Brothers. And it's you get to be all the characters from WB, from Warner Brothers world, or not all of them, but a good variety of them. So it looks fun. And that is the last thing we have of Kevin Conroy as Batman. David, do you want to tell them about the last thing that we would have had?
Yeah, it wasn't WB canceled. It was Batman Caped Crusader, and it was supposed to be this new animated series airing, hopefully in like 2023. And he was slated to be Thomas Wayne. But, as we've heard, it's been canceled.
So
I kind of could see this, but also Thomas Wayne's taken a lot of different forms, and him being voiced as him would really confuse me because he's the voice of Bruce. I don't know. It's
right.
What I would see.
Ingrained. It's been 30 years and 303 appearances. And then, as I said, I'm wrong. He wouldn't have been Batman in that. He would have been Thomas. And so Multiverses is the last official Kevin Conroy as Batman. But of course, he was in live action in Batwoman. And then before that, he was Batman and Scooby-Doo and Guess Who? And then right before that was the Batman and the Fatal Five. But Fatal Five came out March 29th. Scooby-Doo came out September 19th. Batwoman came out December 9th, 2019. But then Multiverses came out this year.
So if you're wanting a real accurate list, make sure in the upcoming days to be checking out Geek Insider, as Matthew himself will be posting an article breaking down
and it's just
the actual order of.
Yeah, it's not going to have a description or anything. It's just going to be a chronological list of his appearances.
So if you want to go check out all of our boys Kevin Conroy's work, we will be there to provide that for you. Now, I do want to say, before anything else, I do want to thank you, Kevin Conroy, from the voices you do from the TV shows, through the movies, through the video games, through just everything that you've provided to us, coming to the Comic Cons, being such a fan, being able to embody Batman for us, just being probably the number one hero that I would say is just as much as what I'd hope to meet in real life as what I would dream about. I highly encourage everybody else to make sure that you thank Kevin Conroy for everything that he's done for us and express sympathy for his family, his loved ones, as
his husband,
hero.
His husband is torn up. This was stomach cancer,
intestinal cancer.
Yeah, intestinal cancer. And his husband has been very grateful for all the outreach and all the tributes to him. And like I said, folks, we know that if you go and look up Kevin Conroy on YouTube, there's a lot of little tributes, but most of them are 4 minutes, 15 minutes. And sure, we could have done something like that, but we wanted to really, take a dive into the GeekVerse and look at his career. And there is a lot of non-Batman stuff that we skipped over because, we are Batman fans. And so we only covered that. And to cover it, we went an hour and a half here. If we'd have covered his entire career, this would have been a 3-hour show. But again, folks, if you tuned in on the podcast, make sure you check out the show on YouTube, or like David said, check out the article in the coming days if you want a chronological order of his appearances. And folks, I want to mention something here. Now, I'm not sure, we're not sure yet if this is coming in 2 weeks or after the first of the year, but we have got some really cool contests coming up. Not contests, but giveaways. And so you might want to tell your friends and family to subscribe to the channel and kind of tune in over the next few weeks, because I'm pretty sure we're going to give away something nice that'll be in your hand, be in the winner's hands before Christmas, so you can keep it or put it under your tree or gift it to someone.
And not only that, but as they subscribe, make sure to have everybody check these episodes out and really keep your eye and ear out, as there may be some key things that you'll want to catch about these giveaways.
Exactly.
Context that's coming up.
Yep, exactly. And we are going to reveal that, and probably on next week's show, we will nail it down, because if we're going to do it for December, then we'll be starting it on next week's show. But I got to hammer out some details with Geek Insider. But it's going to be something nice. We're talking at minimum retail value of $100. I don't have anything in the prize collection right now less than $100. And I am working on some things that are about 10 times more than that. Some really cool geek stuff. I don't want to say anything yet because I don't want to jinx it. So be sure to tune in over the next few weeks. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. I saw a lot of people coming in and out of Facebook and tuning in on YouTube. I know it was a long show, so those of you that stuck with us, thank you so much. Again, as David said, I want to thank you, Kevin Conroy, for 30 years of Batman entertainment. It's a phenomenal job, and no one will be able to fill those shoes. You will always be our Batman. To his family, I'm so sorry for your loss, and thank y'all for sharing your loved one with us. And David, any final words? Yep, go ahead.
If y'all would like to share your thanks and pay your little bit of contribute to this, go ahead and go down to the comments and drop your time marker for which of these moments that Kevin Conroy gave us as the Batman was your favorite.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's a good idea, man. If we get enough of them, maybe I'll put together just a quick little montage of just quick little things. And of course, I should have said this earlier, folks, all of the clips and stuff, they are not our property. They are property of Warner Brothers and respective Real Media and all of that for the trailers. But we just wanted to do this tribute. We might get dinged on a copyright thing, which this video will stay up. And it's no big deal. If we do, it'll stay up.
For Kevin Conroy.
Exactly. I'll take the ding. I'll take the ding on that. We wanted to do something special to mark this occasion. Before we go out, I just want to show this again. Kevin Conroy, November 1955 to November 2022. He was just a few days away from, or a week or so away from his birthday. And so, y'all, thanks again so much for tuning in. We'll be sure to tune in next week. Not sure what the show's going to be about. We do have probably a guest coming up, but I'm not sure if that's going to be next week.
And as always, make sure to either email us or leave us a comment for the shows that you are most anticipated about or want us to do, and we'll make sure to do our best to get them out there for you.
That's what gave us the idea for one of these upcoming shows, was somebody writing in. So thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday, not Monday. We'll be on regular time.
Oh, that does it for this episode of Into the GeekVerse. If you enjoy our content, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. And if you want to join us live, hit that bell so you never miss a show. Want to catch us on the go? Listen to our podcast on every major platform, but you can catch the real fun on YouTube. Be sure to visit geekinsider.com for tons of great geek content and advertising opportunities. And if you want to stay up to date on all things geeky, sign up for our newsletter. We'll see you next Sunday at 9 p.m. Central. And if you're not here, we might have to revoke your geek card. Have a great week, everyone.